Hello everyone and welcome to the Sundrop Cup Series 21st race on this season. We're here at the Memphis International Raceway for the running of the Saia Trucking 500 at Memphis. 12 drivers still fighting for the championship, but right now Kukulon has been the one taking off to the races. Morris, Lane, and Onjak have all fallen behind, but the 55 of Morris is the only one close with only 11 back from the points leader in the 19. However, today, Sebastian Kukulon rolling off from the 31st position. He's going to have to make a bit of magic like Cody Goforth and Matthew Eves had last week at Richmond to get himself into victory lane. On pole is Jay Jefferson in the 48, who has had some run-ins at Memphis before. This is one of the races that put him on probation last season after he was caught really just crashing every lap car in sight. Jefferson has fallen to 12th in the standings, 80 points back from Sebastian Kukulon. Really, he needs a good run today. He needs to win this race and hope for the 19, the 55 to have some poor finishes. And we'll see if Jay can catch himself back up in the championship. He, of course, is your defending Truck and Cup Series champion, driving that number 48. Carson Bowers always seems to really surprise and have great runs at Memphis, rolling off second today on the outside of row 1. We'll see what the Onjado number 25 can do this weekend. Dusty Neal won the first race at Memphis last season, got him into the chase. This year he does not have a run at the chase, but he did win at Mosport 2 weeks ago. The CFRO team retiring the team at the end of the year with Henson Neal Motorsports, which is now BKR, moving in to take Dusty Neal's seat in the Cup Series. That's where he will be next year. We'll see what the 94 team can do if they can get another win this season. Cody Goforth won Richmond. He's a big contender in the championship fight, 32 back from Sebastian Kukulon, while teammate Irving Allison is having the opposite season. He has gained a lot last week at Richmond, but he's still 55 points back in the 7th position. Give a shout out to Roger Ray, having a great qualifying effort, getting that 84 into 6th. Colton Lane in 7th, still winless on the year, the highest up driver in the chase standings. He's 3rd, 24 back, 0 wins on the season. Matthew Eves, who is having an outstanding truck campaign, looking for his championship down there. He rolls off in 8th. And William Duncan in the Saia Trucking 500 gets the Saia Trucking 33 up into the top 10, starts this car in 9th. And Anderson Reed in the number 3 rolls off in P10. Gatlin Downey, Ryan Butcher, SWJ also qualifying in the top 15. You got Zachary DeLello, Tib Foster right here. Both of those guys 8th and 6th in the points respectively. Still just about a race behind the 19 car. Brandon Morris rolls off 18th in the 55. Alongside him is his longtime rival, Diego Yepes. Matty Porta rolls off 19th. Peter Onjak, 22nd. He's going to have to get to the bottom early. This track does not race like IRP in the truck race, where the outside line can be powerful. Memphis has a really strong inside line dominant series, and that is your 31st place driver, Sebastian Kukulon, rolling off from the 31st position. Has the inside line. Alongside him is Joseph Strigley. We'll see what he can do. A long way to go. He almost won this race earlier this season, that being Sebastian Kukulon, but a mechanical failure in the closing laps gave it to Cody Goforth, snagging his first career win, while Carter Friesen rolls off 39th for the Sauber Racing Team 85, as he will move to Pedal to Metal Racing in their number 70 next season. Well, we're getting ready for the start of this race. It's going to be 125 laps, the longest Memphis race we've seen. We'll see how the carnage or the chaos plays out at the short track. Jefferson and Bowers leading us down. We'll go ahead down trackside for the commands to fire the engines here at Memphis.
Drivers, start your engines!
With that, the engines are fired. We're rolling off for these 125 laps at the Saia Trucking 500 at Memphis. Jay Jefferson, Carson Bowers on the front row. Jay looking for a big chance to bring himself back into the championship fight here. The Cup Series, of course, has 8 chase races compared to the Truck 7. Still both long runs, but you have an extra race to recover from a bad one, and that's what Jay had at Mosport and sort of at Richmond. Didn't really have a strong car like we've seen at Richmond in the past. He will be trying to get this car into victory lane today, but you got a strong driver on the outside, Bowers, who has never won a Cup Series race, and Dusty Neal, who has a win here before. We'll see what these guys look like as we get ready to go racing here at Memphis. 40 cars, 125 laps as they come out of turn number 4, 2x2, 20 rows deep. The crowd is on their feet. Green flag is in the air, and we are racing at the Memphis International Raceway. all throughout this field. 3 wide at the back with Luke Evans trying to pick spots up. You saw Yepes kind of have a bad corner there through turn number 1 and 2, and we will be green for this opening lap. Jay Jefferson out in front over Carson Bowers, Dusty Neal, Irving Allison, Cody Goforth back in 5th as William Duncan. It might not last this 33 at the front for too long, but he wants to get a top 5 a lap in the top 5 if he can, as he's moving for 6th on Colton Lane. You got all these championship contenders up front. You got the underdog, William Duncan, having a great start already. He's up 4 spots from the start of this race. But you got DeLello and Anderson Reed underneath him. You got all of the monster guys right here inside this top 10, except for Matty Porta, who's in the chase. You got Yepes just a little further back as well. Memphis has been a chaotic race in the past. You see Cody Goforth now working under Irving Allison. These two had a great run in the spring here. Cody ended up winning this race after Sebastian Kukulon had a mechanical failure at the end, pitted from the race lead, as Cody's now looking for that 3rd spot. He won Richmond last time out. That race is much like Memphis, a bit of a curved short track, and you definitely have to take it easy, or you're going to get into the wall or get into some trouble, as Goforth was 5th just 2 laps ago and is working on 2nd on Carson Bowers right here. BGM and Toyota have been the class of the field this year so far. 4 wins for Morris, 3 for Goforth, 1 for Irving. That's 8 of 20 races won by BGM alone. If you throw Sebastian Kukulon for SBR in there, of course, 12 of 20. Toyota has been the absolute powerhouse of the field this year, but on the short tracks it's really been so. Memphis, Richmond have gone to Cody Goforth. Morris has won. Nashville, Steelback has been competitive at all of them. Be ready to see these BGM guys up here, but Jay Jefferson jumped out to the early lead. This HEB number 48 looking to put himself into victory lane and get the sponsor its first Cup Series win, if so, but you're only 6 laps in, still a long way to go. You can't be saying anything. This whole top 10 could be flipped around as this race goes on. But what is very good is the Saia Trucking 33 will get him some TV time here with his sponsor sponsoring this race. They're looking for a good show, and they are having a good show right now. Up in 6th, 7 laps into this one. You got SWJ up here. Roger Ray is in this. Matthew Eves looking for a CFRO double top 10 if they can get it, as Eves is going to get real close up on Lane right there. But again, Eves has to really watch it on these weekends, because you got a lot of guys that double dip in the series. Colton Lane runs in the Truck Series. Peter Onjak runs in the Truck Series. You don't want to make them mad in a Cup race weekend, and they come back in the Truck Series where it really matters to you. This year has not really mattered in Cup for Eves. He is solidly back in the 24th position in points. Had no shot of making the chase, really, in the final few races. But for CFRO, they've been really rebounding, I'll say. This 47 car has shown a lot of speed lately. He's now up inside this battle, as you see Foster and Morris going at it right there. Butcher started this race 13th. He's already fallen to the 17th position. He's good by the 04. There is Kukulon and Onjak. So Kukulon started this race 31st on the outside. Alloway's actually going to park the bus on Onjak and holds up that 44 a little bit. So it must be a Toyota team order right there. Through Chevrolet, as Onjak really just pushed Alloway back down into the corner near Kukulon. Now Sebi getting real close with Hagan and Alloway around him as he's trying to work his way through. This 19 car already up in the 21st position, 10 spots gained in 10 laps, as Onjak really hasn't gained much, but he just got to the inside line not too long ago as Murray forces his way under there. That's an SBR driver in that, and Onjak might be the closest guy, including the 55 of Morris, that could take down Sebastian Kukulon for this championship. Onjak hasn't had a good start to it, but he's still only 27 back. That's not many positions if you're looking at the points format this year. Of course, 1st through 15th, all giving just a little bit more of a space between the positions than finishing in the back. So really, winning a race and being 5th is almost a 14 or a 12-point swing, I think. It's nearly that, so that lead can go away with just a lucky victory and a poor day. Poor finish by anyone. So if you're a race behind, especially entering Kansas this year, is going to be much different. Instead of picking up one spot, it's just get to the front and stay there, because you could pick up a ton of points positions in this field. Irving Allison now going after Dusty Neal for that 3rd position as they go at it. Jefferson pulling away ahead. Goforth right there in 2nd. And now Zachary DeLello wants to put that 57 in the top 5. Irving Allison on the bottom there. One thing that's kind of famous for DeLello here at Memphis, you remember last season we came here, he and Austin Murray got into it on the backstretch. I think Murray almost got turned by DeLello down the back straightaway, or he did, and Murray came back around the front stretch and turned DeLello through the infield. That was a very intense moment, really, and showed the short track racing and the short track tempers of these guys. This year, of course, Murray at SBR, not in the championship fight, back there in the 23rd position now, as DeLello is up inside the top 5, and DeLello's really having a surprising season now. Looks like whatever happened in Chicagoland really woke him up. Monster starting to put some backing towards this 57. He's having a pretty good chase. He's 8th in the standings, so that's better than he's been running all season. That's one good thing about the chase for some of these top guys. Now you actually have a shot at the title compared to the regular season format, the full season format, where the championship is decided almost a race or two early, especially in the NSDCA, where Adam Mitchell has absolutely pulled away with the championship lead with 3 races to go in the Mountain Dew Custom Series championship fight. There's Stephen Wallace Jr. Last season, this was the track in that opening race that he finished runner-up in. That's his best Cup Series finish, but the closest he's been to getting a race win outside of the Sundrop 500 last season as well. He's been running very strong at Memphis in the past few races in the Cup Series and picking that up today with a top 10 run. Looking back through, there is Foster. Tib Foster started a bit further back, 14th, so he dropped back on the outside up into the 11th position. 55 of Morris is 17th, and Duncan has now started to fall back. He's 17th, so the 33 starting to fade. Onjak up to the 20th spot as Kukulon is still fighting with a bunch of slower cars, not lap cars yet. And there's Carter Friesen, started this race 39th. Unlike some of the guys in the truck race yesterday, he did not fail post-qualifying inspection, just did not nail a setup for the 85 team. He's moved his way back solidly into the top 25 as they go. You got Colton Yo back in the 35, real sideways there, racing with the boss for this weekend, Gatlin Downey. See DJ Curtis, Brady Burkhart back here. Those guys have kind of fallen off since this race has gone on, or since the chase has started. They were once contenders, now they really are not. But out in front, it's all Jay Jefferson, 18 of 125 complete, 19 laps in the books right here. We're going to go ahead, take a quick commercial break. We'll bring guys back to the action at the Saia Trucking 500. It's Jay Jefferson out in front over Cody Goforth, Zachary DeLello, Dusty Neal, and Irving Allison in your top 5 here at Memphis. Back live here at the Memphis International Raceway. Cody Goforth just went under attack on Jay Jefferson, but was not able to make the pass as Jay defended on the outside. Now Cody is all over the back of that 48. These are 2 championship contenders right here. Of course, as denoted by the spoiler splitters and everything else being yellow. Goforth, 32 points back from Kukulon. If Sebi finishes 20th, that could give Goforth the points lead as he takes the spot away from Jay right there. And Jay's doing his best, 80 points back. This could put him back within a race if the 19 continues to struggle as this race goes on. So this is an important battle for both of these guys. And Zachary DeLello in 3rd. Don't count out this 57 out. Those guys have been losing time for a good, pretty much since the drop of the green flag. But now DeLello has started to slowly reel those top 2 in. He's dropped about 6/10 off in the last 5 or so laps, but maybe that was because those top 2 were battling. Now Goforth pulling away as Stephen Wallace Jr. on the apron with an engine failure on the 65. Will he be able to bring it back around to pit road? That is heartbreaking to see. As we said, he was having such a good day going for that 65 car. He's down to 13 miles an hour. If he can get it onto the pit road, they might be able to just tow him back to pits without a yellow coming out, but they haven't called one yet, as Jay, I think, sees that happening, going back for the race lead in the 48, and will take that spot back away from Goforth. He's trying to lock up maybe another bonus point for most laps led there in the 48 car. So we're looking at the back, kind of single file all the way through the back. There is Duncan. SWJ's now on pit road, but again, they're going to have to get that 65 out of there. And there they go, towed that 65 back. We stay under green here at Memphis. So let's go ahead as we come back from the break and let's go ahead and go through the field here at Memphis just real quick. Jay Jefferson, your race leader, has been dominating this race so far, 28 laps in. He's led pretty much almost all of them, except for a couple. Goforth just led. 48's looking pretty good. He's saying he loves the car, just needs to get away from the 17 of Cody Goforth. Won last week's race at Richmond, really starting to put a career together over there at BGM. 0 wins before this, and 3 this season for the young guy in the 17. He is up in the 2nd position. Back in 3rd, Zachary DeLello won Chicagoland to get himself into the chase, though even if he finished 2nd, he probably would have pointed his way in. Caution out on the track. Brady Burkhart's car is destroyed. The 07 as well, that's Alex Fletcher. And we should be under caution for that, and we are. Yellow flag is out at Memphis, so we will not go through the field. But we do have a crash on the back straightaway. Brady Burkhart's car, probably he's done in this one, and Alex Fletcher also in it. Fletcher goes a lap down, but if he was in the crash, that is not going to give him a Fago free pass attempt, as Jay Jefferson will lead the field on down, and we will come down this back straightaway as the field cycles out of turn number 2. Hopefully they'll all stay clean, getting themselves back on. They've already pretty much lined themselves up, so there shouldn't be too much of an issue. As Eli Bright has heavy front-end damage, so does the 61, the 01 of Adam Mitchell. So this was a bigger crash than we first thought here at Memphis. And we will go ahead and watch as the championship fighting crews go to work on these drivers up front. Jay Jefferson, Cody Goforth leading the field down into their pit boxes. We will go ahead and get that on the screen right here as Jefferson pulls himself onto pit road. We'll see Bowers going to work behind him, Roger Ray, Dusty Neal, a lot of cars on pit road. I'd say 4 tires and fuel. Probably the strategy you want to go with, especially if you don't want to end up like Tip Foster a couple of years ago, or last season here at Memphis. Jefferson leads him out. Goforth 2nd as he shoots out of his box. DeLello 3rd, Neal 4th, Irving Allison, Lane, Reed, Porta, Foster, and it looks like Roger Ray, your top 10, but look at Onjak in the 44 picking up a ton of spots, as well as the 19 and 55. So we got a bunch of our championship contenders back up front. Big crash here at Memphis. First caution of the day. Let's go take a quick replay. First sense of the day, Burkhart in the 99 is going to get hooked by Adam Mitchell. They're going to go sideways there, but he comes right back up in front of the 01, hooked into the outside wall, and is going to pile in with multiple cars behind, including teammate Alex Benyako. Alex Parker, we saw him damaged earlier. Burkhart's day is done, but some close racing here at Memphis already. A couple crashes in the back here. You got Eli Bright, heavy front-end damage to that, number 8 as well. On board with Gatlin Downey, he's just going to sneak through this. He was right behind it, just going to sneak through. A great job by the 69 to get through there in that RER-powered number 69 Ford. This one, though, on board with Alex Benyako, doesn't get through it just as cleanly and right into the side of his teammate Burkhart. Ton of torn-up cars on the backstretch here today. A big one strikes early on here at Memphis. We're under caution for the first time today at the Memphis International Raceway. Coming back around to take the green flag here at the Saia Trucking 500. Jay Jefferson out in front over Cody Goforth, Zachary DeLello, Dusty Neal, Irving Allison, Colton Lane, Anderson Reed, Matty Porta, Tib Foster, Roger Race. It is your top 10, but look who has charged through the field. Peter Onjak, Brandon Morris, Sebastian Kukulon, all inside this top 15. Bowers has fallen back, so has Eves. Rest of your chase contenders, Carter Friesen has made it up to 21st after starting this race 39th. Duncan 9th to 25th, a bit of a slow day for the 33 as he settles to the back. Larry Hagan on a really down season, 29th at a track type he should be good at. And Cody Goforth, an issue on the 17, flat tire on Goforth, is going to take the 17 out of this one. So like Sebastian Kukulon earlier this year at Memphis, Goforth has the issue. We're going to go green with Jefferson out in front over DeLello now in second as they come back down the front straightaway. Green flag is back in the air, and we're racing again at Memphis. That's going to cost Goforth a ton of time as these field cycles their way through turn number 1. 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Yepes making the move. Morris looking for a shot on the 44 as Kukulon now finds himself just outside the top 10. There is Goforth. 2-tire change on the 17. Here comes Jefferson flying up on him. So Goforth trying to stay on the lead lap here if he can as they come out of turn number 4 behind, or turn number 2 behind him. And we'll see the gap now Goforth to Jefferson back there as Irving Allison sends it up the inside of Neal for that third position. So now Goforth trying to maintain himself on the lead lap, because if a caution comes out, he could cycle back around. Even still, if he stays on the lead lap, he could run his way through some green flag pit stops, gain some stuff too, especially he'll be catching up definitely on some of the slower cars up front as DeLello. He thinks Jay's a bit slow in front of him, looking for that race lead. Not going to get there, but if DeLello could win this race, this would be such a turnaround from the beginning of the season for him. He's got Lane third, Irving Allison fourth, now Anderson Reed pressuring Neal for fifth. You got Foster back there in seventh. Now, we're starting to see the chase contenders starting to root out some of the slower or the non-chase contenders as Neal gets really pushed high down there in two. We've seen a lot of drivers smack the wall in turn number two. You got to watch that when you're coming out 2x2. Nice job by Neal to keep it off there as Onjak's now working his way past Roger Ray. See Kukulon back there now getting passed by a few guys. Friesen now putting that 85 into the top 20. Look at the rest of the way through, making sure everyone is clean. You got to watch this 0-1 here as he comes down this front straightaway, hitting 125 in the 0-1. And that is not your race leader, Cody Goforth. So Jay Jefferson is your race leader. As he comes down the front straightaway, that is going to be 20-mile-per-hour difference between him and Adam Mitchell. So they will give Mitchell and Benyako one more attempt here. Benyako's going to clear it. Adam Mitchell 126, so he is very close to getting parked here for not meeting minimum speed by the 48, as we'll see his max speed down this front straightaway. 144 to 126, 18 miles per hour. For Adam Mitchell, that is going to get him real close, as Jefferson's still getting pressured by DeLello back there. And there is the 0-1. 125 for the 0-1. They will park Adam Mitchell from this event in the 0-1 car. So the damaged vehicle policy this year, of course, 15 miles per hour on a straightaway. You can be slower than in that 0-1. And he will have to bring that car down pit road, park it. The day is over for the BGM 0-1. Now we look back up front as Benyako did pass the minimum speed requirement. You got Lane and Irving Allison fighting for that third position. Colton Lane right on the back of the 16, getting a nose underneath, getting aggressive there. Remember, Lane has no wins this year. He has made his way into the chase on consistency alone. Entered this fourth in the regular season standings. Ended up falling down a bit down the order because he didn't have 5 bonus points for any wins. But he is back in the fight for the championship, only 24 back from your points leader, Sebastian Kukulon, as you see the 44 Onjak already up inside this top 5 now. Anderson Reed back there, Morris and Kukulon also charging. All the chasers are pretty much inside this top group. I think all the way back to Kukulon in 10th is all championship contenders, and that it is. You got Cody Goforth back at the tail end of the field. You got Carter Friesen fighting in the 20th position, Cody Goforth in last on the lead lap in 35th, and the rest of your top 10 is all championship chase contenders. This is a very rare sight to see, but really what the Cup Series has been is your top 12 at the end of the season are always the best drivers of the year. And that's what we're seeing. The top 12 in points are your top 12 in the chase. We didn't have any wild cards outside of 11th, with a race win being Zachary DeLello, as Anderson Reed was able to point his way in. So this is a great battle up front. This is pretty much mano-a-mano against 10 of the best in the NSDCA, trying to pick up as many points as they can. But the good thing for them, the guy in 10th currently is the 19. That's your points leader. And the guy in 9th is second in points, Morris. So pretty much all of those guys are picking up points now on the top guys. We'll see what Bowers will do in that 25 as he sits the first driver, the first, I guess, chase spoiler in the grid right now, back in that 11th position. That is very entertaining to see, as Bowers is going to take a dive to the inside of Kukulon, try to take that spot away. I don't think Sebi has a car that could win this race today. I think he has a car that could definitely get a top 5. I don't know if he's going to be able to contend with the 48, even for the 57, really. DeLello's been putting down some fast laps, but I think Kukulon, he's fought his way through the field. He's fought by a lot of the guys that are probably trying to give him a bit more room. You don't want to be the one taking out a championship contender if you're a guy just fighting for points. But you see Bowers, Neal, they're not afraid of fighting this 19. And now you got 10 guys in front of you that do not want to give you an inch on the track because they need to get as many points as they can ahead of you when you're in that 19 and even the 55 just ahead of them. Porta entering this 11th in the standings. Anderson Reed 10th in the standings. Foster 6th. Onjak 4th. Colton Lane 3rd. Irving Allison 7th entering this. Zachary DeLello 8th entering this. And Jefferson 12th entering this. The two drivers not inside this top 10 are 9th Carter Friesen and 3rd or 5th Cody Goforth, but again, we saw why Goforth is not in the top 5. He has pace, definitely, as he's catching up to Alex Benyako. That'll be another spot for him. Look at the back. Duncan and Downey had great starts to this race. Looks like they have fallen to the rear. There's Max Anderson going down to Mountain Dew Custom Series racing next year. There's Joseph Strigley in the 63. I do not remember if this was announced before on the broadcast or not, but a great job by Strigley to net a Sauber Racing Team entry in the Truck Series, as Curtis and Friesen are not given an inch. This looks like Atlanta last year. Curtis really not giving him an inch, but Joseph Strigley will be in the second truck for Sauber Racing Team next season, as Riley Spurley, of course, DNF at IRP, did him no favors in the championship fight. But Strigley, 24th right now, as Friesen gave that spot to Curtis, and I would too if DJ was trying to put you in the wall for it. See Butcher and Ray real close together. And now Kukulon starts his hunt back on Morris. You got teammates there in Reed and Porta trying to work their way up. Peter Onjak had a bit of a bad start to the chase in both races. Of course, a horrible pit run at Richmond put him back in the field. He was able to pick his way back up, went from, I believe, 21st on the restart to 6th on that final run, which was fantastic for Peter in that 44 car. He knows he has pace on short tracks, just has to put it together. He's made his way to 6th already. Tim Foster 5th, Lane 3rd, Irving Allison 2nd. Of course, Jay Jefferson out in front as they have put Alex Benyako a lap down, and Cody Goforth still just maintaining in front of Jefferson. He was fighting Jay earlier on in this race, as we saw, so obviously that 17 will not be going a lap down to the 48 real quick here, as Cody is pretty much leading the charge and might be able to separate some of the lap cars for him as they work their way through the field. 54 laps complete here at Memphis. It's been a very exciting race so far. You got Morris and Porta now going for that 8th position. What you're looking at, I believe the fuel window usually is around 50 to 60 laps. These guys pit round lap 30, I believe, so they still got a long way to go before they have to end up on pit road, as both the Toyotas have now moved past the Italian Stallion and Matty Porta. Morris cleared at 8th, Kukulon 9th, and Porta almost in the wall back there in 10th. Now these two will set their sights on Anderson Reed. These two have been the class of the field this year, the only two with 4 wins, but Cody Goforth, had he not had a tire go down today on that restart, probably could have been contending for a 4th win this season for these guys. Short tracks have been the strong point for the 55, as you see Porta going back underneath Kukulon back there, trying to get as many points as he can. He's probably not going to win the title. Monster Motorsports came into this season 6 full-time cars. Of course, the 77 was a rotating cast of drivers, so it's not in the chase. The other 4 full-time drivers, not including DJ Curtis, are the 4 Monster Motorsports guys in the chase. So it's got to be hard for that team splitting up so many resources among so many cars, especially when they're all in the chase, all have a chance for the title. So Porta currently the last running Monster Motorsport car in the chase right now, on track and in the point standings. He is 11th in the point standings after a horrible start in Mosport and not a strong run at Richmond. There's Benyako's, or Onjak's now moved himself into the 5th position. He and Tib and Onjak made both chases in the for Onjato last year and this year. Onjak, of course, almost won the title last year. Foster kind of ran mid-pack, but came home in the top 5, I'm pretty sure. Got 6th last season. Same with Tib this year. He's in the top 6 in the standings as they run. But Peter Onjak is the big threat for all these guys. He has 2 wins on the year. Last season, he didn't have any until the later runs of the season. Wasn't really a major championship contender, but was keeping pace with all these guys. So you know, now that he has momentum, now that he has pace, he's moving on up. And he, speaking of pace, he's going to make a move on Colton Lane here for that 4th position, as DeLello and Irving are fighting just further up. Irving's actually going to take that spot from Zachary DeLello, as Jay has launched away in this race. See what Peter can do as he goes against the Monster Motorsports Walmart number 60 back there for that 4th position. Don't count out Tib back in 6th, just watching his boss go at it. Tib has been a very strong second driver at Onjato, really. Now, Auto does work a lot. They have success in all their drivers usually. Carson Bowers is the only one we haven't really seen success from, and Roger Ray has been on the up, but with a new car, of course, expanding from last season. Not much you can think of that. But Tib has been a great second driver at Auto for Onjak, for himself. He's put this car in the championship fight. He's fought Peter a lot this season. They've had great battles, great success. They're both inside the top 10 right now in 5th and 6th for that Menards and X-Side batteries cars. And a good thing for them, Menards and X-Side have signed on for another year of full-time sponsorship in the NSDCA. That is very rare to see anymore in the Cup Series and Truck Series. Is the Mountain Dew Custom Series, there's no other choice for the 14 races. But in the Cup Series and Truck Series, you can run as many primaries as you really want to. And X-Side there is he's going to get a big dive to the inside of Colton Lane looking for that 4th position. But X-Side and Menards have both signed on for 26 races next season. And both of those guys will be running some strong cars and great schemes next year. You'll always be able to see the neon yellow Menards and the bright pink X-Side batteries cars fighting near the front. These two have pretty much stalled out behind Lane. Irving Allison clear into 2nd. Jefferson hunting down. Now Alex Fletcher as Cody Goforth is starting to pick off some of the slower guys at the back, picking him up some points. We'll go ahead. 64, 125. Long way left in this race to go. But it's all Jay Jefferson out in front, who's been dominating today over Irving Allison, Zachary DeLello. Now Tib Foster in Colton Lane as Foster takes 4th. Get you guys back to the action here at Memphis right after this. Back live here at the Saia Trucking 500 at Memphis. Colton Lane right now lost the position to Foster right before we went to commercial break. Foster now has caught up to Zachary DeLello. That's the battle for the 3rd position as they're starting to get ready behind some of this lap traffic, including Alex Fletcher, who was in that crash earlier on in this event. Irving Allison has cleared some of those guys. Looks like a spin on the front stretch. Yellow flag is out, and we are under caution once again here at Memphis. And that is not good for Jefferson. That's a saving grace for Cody Goforth. Gets him back possibly into the swing of things in that 17. But Jefferson was out in front, cruising to about a 2-second lead there for a little bit of time there. And now he's going to have to bring that car down pit road. And the field's going to go to work on their cars. A 2nd round of yellow flag pit stops as Luke Evans likes to hold up the entire field. That's going to give Jefferson a much-needed boost, getting him onto pit road. So expect this 48 HEB Dodge be the first one off of pit road right there, but I suspect everyone on the lead lap should be bringing it on in. You see Ben Yacko there. He is a lap down. He'll probably not get the free pass. We'll see who does. Looks like DJ Curtis, heavy damage there. He and Carter Friesen, I wonder, they've been beefing a bit earlier on in this race. They might be the ones getting together there. That'd be pretty funny, but coming back down pit road for pit stops. 71-25. This could be the final pit stops of the race. You might have to save just a little bit of fuel here in the end of this one to make it to the end, but there is a chance we could see this race go green the rest of the way. It's been a pretty clean one so far. Jefferson out first over Irving Allison, DeLello, Foster, Onjak. His Lane is going to have a bit of a poor pit stop. 3 wide coming on out. Kukulon trying to beat out the 55 and the 3. That was real close there. Goforth still on pit road. They're taking their good old time with the tires there. He'll be able to pick up spots now in that 17, but he is still not going to be up front and trying to win this race. He will stay ahead of a couple guys there. Bunch of cars went around on the front straightaway, it looked like, here to bring out this caution. That's where we saw the smoke. We'll get you guys back to the action here at Memphis right after this. Let's take a quick replay of the second caution of the day. This one's going to be a simple spin. Curtis and Spurleytube get together down in turn number 3. Both slide around. Some damage to both cars. They continue on under caution for the second time. We are back live here in Memphis, and just like at IRP, under caution, championship contender, championship implications, this time for Peter Onjak. Whatever happened on pit road, it messed up the tire. They are not able to continue in this race and will DNF from the 4th position all the way to the back, and that will take a major contender against Sebastian Kukulon out of this event. Onjak entered the chase. The regular season champion has had a very strong season up to this point. Went toe-to-toe with the 19 and 55, and they are now out of the race, just like Riley Spurley too. But IRP, one of the championship favorites, is looking to be on the major back foot, entering to the final races of the season. But now it's Jay Jefferson back out in front. He continues to lead. It was Luke Evans who got the Fago free pass under this caution. We have just a bunch of laps to go, just under, I believe, about 50 to go this time by. Green flags back in the air, and we're racing once again at the Saia Trucking 500. Battle for third. Tip Foster taking the fight to the Monster Motorsports guys. He's gotten past Reed and Lane. Now looking for DeLello. Might be able to make it a 2-for-1 deal if he can get by the 16 of Irving. Not going to happen. Irving throws the block, but Foster's going to move himself up to third. He knows that he's on Giotto's choice now for the rest of this race, and that 40 is charging to the front up to the third spot. Colton Lane going to make the move to the inside of 57 for that fourth position as DeLello's going to drop to fifth. Kukulon and Morris fighting 7th and 8th as Bowers is putting himself back into the fight. Bowers and Neal have been shown to be some of the raciest guys in this field against some of the chase contenders. Of course, Neal won at Mosport and was a spoiler for that race, as we got the top 8 though, single file under a blanket. 8 chase contenders for this championship right there as Lane sends it to the inside of the 40. He's going to wash up just a little bit. That's going to bring the 57 back into the fight. Almost made it 3 wide there for DeLello, but he's going to tuck right back in behind his teammate Colton Lane. And now Foster having to work that outside line, trying to defend his position, and will get the job done as he clears into the third spot, pulls away from Colton Lane, who now has his teammates and Anderson Reed and Zachary DeLello to the inside. DeLello will clear the 60 as well as Kukulon fights his way up. Bowers now to the inside of the 55 of Morris back there as Kukulon's hanging strong right ahead of him. Porta also there, and look at Roger Ray. So Angiato's trying to get together and get a triple top 10 if they can do so, even without the 44 there. But I know for a fact Bowers got the go-ahead to go and get that 19 because he needs to get as many points as he can to lessen the impact that the DNF from the 44 will bring here at Memphis, as Bowers is all over the back of Kukulon looking for that spot. He's pushing the 55 as Morris is going to use that outside line to get by, almost by the 19, as Kukulon slides up almost into the side of the 55. They're going at it for the 7th position still. Bowers back there in the 25. Roger Ray right behind him. That's your top 10. The fight from 7th to 10th going on here is up in front. Jay Jefferson pulling back away from Irving Allison, Tip Foster, Zachary DeLello, and Anderson Reed. Now as Colton Lane is starting to fall back, make this a 6th to 10th battle possibly for these positions. 55 keeps running real wide through turn number 3. Bowers might have made a move 3 wide there on Kukulon. It's not going to happen. Ray continues to hunt these guys down from the 10th position. And this 55 and 19 continue to go at it for the 8th position, which is costing them a lot of time. They're starting to lose the time to that front 6 as they fight for this 7th position tooth and nail. And as we said, Kukulon's running into much more defensive drivers and much more capable drivers than what he was tearing his way through the field in the beginning of this race, working his way from 31st now to the 7th position as he goes right back past the 55 there down the back straightaway. Porta's clear into 11th. You got Butcher. Look at Jeff Alloway up here. You got Austin Murray, Evan Hunter all fighting inside the top 20. There is Goforth. Remember, he had that tire issue earlier on, a flat tire on a restart for the 17. They were able to come down and repair it, and he restarted about 31st. He's made his way back up to 21st after these last 8 laps. So that 17 is moving. Again, it's going to be real hard for him to get back up and try to win this race, but I don't think he'll be able to. His teammate, though, and Irving Allison might be able to. 1 win this season. He won at I-69. Last year, he won this race in the Truck Series. He won the chase race at Memphis, so he knows how to get it done here, but I think it's going to be real hard for anyone to stop this 48. The HEB Dodge of Jay Jefferson for Texas Star Racing has led pretty much since the drop of the green flag. Only Cody Goforth has been able to get by him. This 48 car is bad fast out here. Might have to come down to a late caution for someone to be able to get the spot. And as I say that, the yellow flag is out. We got a big one as Gatlin Downey is upside down on his lid, nailed by the 83 and the 62 of Mathis Wells. And these guys, Riley Spurley Tube's car torn up in that one. And these guys will come back down, and they are going to top off on fuel to make sure they can make it to the end of this race. And this definitely should be the final pit stop of the day. Jay Jefferson leading this field of the remaining about 33 cars, I'd have to say, down pit road. This is beneficial. Never mind, Alex Benyaka was in the crash. You saw him run into the 69, so Benyaka will not get the free pass. There's a difference between getting a lot of damage and just kind of getting nicked in the crash, so that's the difference there. But the 48 leads them down, and this will be the money stop for everyone. We'll see if any of these guys will try to go ahead and take 2 tires for track position, try to get around the 45 on pit road, but here we go. 4 tires possible for everyone, though, to make it to the end of this race. The 55's already back out. Jefferson's also out on a 2-tire call. Bowers is going to be second coming off of pit road. Irving Allison third. Morris fourth. Lane fifth. Strigley's up to 7th. And this field has been topsy-turvied, upside down. The field is different. Cody Goforth actually has damage in that 17. They're not going to repair it. But that is a major strategy call. Carson Bowers now sits up in 2nd in this 25. Joseph Strigley jumps to 7th. In the 63, Austin Murray 8th, Diego Yepes 9th. Kukulon back to 11th. And this changes everything here in the closing laps. Ton of cars torn up. We'll get another quick replay, see what happened to bring out now the 3rd caution of the day here at Memphis. Here's the big one of the day. Butcher's going to walk it up into Jeff Alloway. They pinch coming off the corner. They tried to save it, but he hits Evan Hunter back into the outside wall, and just everyone piles in the back, trying to make their way through. Heavy hits for multiple drivers, including Gatlin Downey, who gets turned upside down. Here's Cody Goforth, who had that flat tire earlier, gets run over by Larry Hagan. Carter Friesen also piles in as the rest of the field comes coming into turn number 3. Heavy damage to that 17. He continues on. Gatlin Downey not so lucky after that first incident. He's going to be caught up in this one, and it's going to take him out of this race. Into the side of Aiden Smith. DJ Curtis comes through, hits him, but Spurley Tube is going to be the one finishing him off with Mathis Wells, puts him on his side, and real close with Benyaka there to hitting him roof first. That could have been a scary incident. On board with Carter Friesen, another chase contender back here. Just nowhere for him to go. The field and the track gets blocked in front of him. He tries to make it through into the back of Goforth as Aiden Smith pushes him through, but he makes it mostly cleanly. On board with Downey as we're going to go on a wild ride here with this RER number 69 as he goes upside down after this hit from Curtis, Spurley Tube, and Mathis Wells. Just a pinball machine over here for the 69 until he ends up on his side. He drives it back around. I don't think he is continuing in this race, however. Under caution, the big one strikes. 3rd caution of the day here at Memphis. Back live here, lap 90 of 125. We're going back green with about 35 laps to go in this race. Again, this is longer than any of the other races we've ran at Memphis. 25 laps longer to be exact. Jay Jefferson leads over now Carson Bowers, who took a big strategy call to get ahead. This field is all jumbled up on 2-tire and 4-tire, no-tire calls all throughout this field, but it is still the 48 out in front over Carson Bowers, now in 2nd. Irving Allison, Brandon Morris, and Colton Lane, your top 5. Coming down the front straightaway, 35 laps to go still at Memphis. Still a long way to go in this event. Green flags back in the air. Can anyone stop the 48 of Jefferson? And it's sure not going to be Bowers with an exit like that. He's going to lose about 2 car lengths there down the back straightaway already. Now DeLello under attack from Joseph Strigley. You got Kukulon back here now. Still has to fight through a bunch of good drivers. You also got Anderson Reed, Tip Foster way in the back now. That 40 is going to be driving mad trying to get back to the front. As we got 4 of the top 5 being championship contenders. And then Carson Bowers, who still is winless after almost 2 years in the NSDCA's top division. This 25 team is still looking for that first win, and they could get it today if they get around Jefferson. Right on the back of them they go, coming out of turn number 4, top 4, nose to tail, and Bowers is not giving an inch on the back of that 48 car, as I think we are under caution once again, and now this becomes the classic Memphis event of crash, crash, and more crash, as it looks like the 12, 82, and especially the 87 of Aiden Smith going around on the back straightaway, but this time I do not expect anyone to be coming down pit road. I think there's no point in that, as Porta is really trying to get himself back to the front. No one's going to come down pit road for anything other than crash damage, so we'll go ahead and get a quick replay. Bring us back to the action here at Memphis. Incident after this restart. Aiden Smith in the back here, but Matty Porta bounces off the wall. It makes Max Anderson go wild, and they're going to pinch up into turn number 4. All 3 go around with some damage to each. Under caution, 4th time today. Back live at the Saia Trucking 500 here at Memphis. Going to be under 30 laps to go here at this short track. Jay Jefferson out in front, Bowers second, Irving Allison third, Morris fourth, Lane fifth. DeLello, Strigley, Yepes, Kukulon, and Murray round out your top 10. Got some underdogs making their way to the front. The 04 is on their way to the top 15. William Duncan still in the top 20. Luke Evans received the Fago free pass not that long ago. Has moved that LEI number 81 into the top 22. And Alex Benyako did receive the free pass that time. We'll put that 83 back on the lead lap. These guys should all make it to the end on fuel. Jefferson, Bowers out in front. We'll see what the 25 can do this time. Green flag's back in the air, and the 48 is gone down into turn 1. Already up about 3/10 there heading into the first corner of the track. DeLello and Lane now side by side for that 5th position between the monster guys. You see Yepes back there trying to get another monster car in the top 10. Anderson Reed working his magic behind Dusty Neal. So all those Chevys starting to move their way back to the front, with Joseph Strigley solidly in the middle of them. Teammates, the 55 and 16, trying to get BGM back to victory lane at another short track this season. That's going to be the 55 of Morris down to the inside, is going to try to take that 3rd position away. Looking for his record-tying 5th win of the season if he can do so today, but he still has to get up there and pass that 48, who has not been beaten all day except by another BGM Toyota and Cody Goforth, who is currently damaged back in the 19th position. Jay Jefferson out in front, though. Bowers holding strong in second. He's always shown speed at Memphis, and he's trying to get this win today, but I think it might come too little too late with his speed, especially did not take any tires under that last pit stop. Is probably going to cost him here at the end, as the 55-16 still side by side for that 3rd position, coming around 26 to go this time by. Ooh, real close between the 55 almost into the side of the 16 as they come down this long front straightaway here at Memphis, side by side still for that 3rd position. I think that time the 16 might be able to clear him coming off the corner. This time might be able to get a run down into turn number 3. Not going to happen. Irving slams the door on the 55. Kukulon fighting now. Yepes, Neal, Strigley, a bunch of guys not in the championship fight ahead of him. He wants to get these easy positions, but these are the guys that are going to fight tooth and nail, especially for the 63. Might have gotten around Strigley easier earlier on, but not now when he's fighting for a top 10 run on a strategy. And just like always with that 63 team, as we have a issue with that, just like always with the 63 team, Joseph Strigley, a crazy strategy at the end of the race is going to get him the track position to try to hang on for a top 10 finish at that GSR team. Look at Evan Hunter into the 11th spot. You got Murray. There's Foster working his way back up. Even Cody Goforth was in that last caution. Ton of damage to the 17, is still outpacing about half the field. He's up into the top 15 now as he makes his way past Diego Yepes back there. Carter Friesen still off the pace at the back. There is Benyako and Spurley tube. So if Spurley can hang on with the 83 of Benyako, he should be able to meet minimum speed. That was 124 that time. We'll see what it is down the back straightaway here for Jefferson as he comes off a turn number 2. Irving Allison has made that move up to 2nd, and 139 to where it was. I think Spurley tube should be fine. He's all over the back of Benyako there. Irving, though, now starting to close in on the 48. We'll see if he can get that race win here. Has not won a cup race since I-69 back about race 8 of the season. We're at race 21, so it's been a long time compared to his BGM teammates in the 55 and 17 as DeLello has moved himself up to 3rd. Bowers starting to fade on those older tires, and DeLello shoots the gap crazily coming out of turn number 4, almost into the wall, barely keeps it out of it, and the 55 and Morris is going to pick that spot back up. Colton Lane fighting now for the 4th position to the inside of that 57, trying to get a move done on his teammate. And don't count out Bowers and Neal. They're still fighting for that ever-important 13th place position in the chase in the championship standings. That's the best of the rest gives a bit of a money bonus to the team that ends up finishing there. Kukulon, though, solidly in 8th, strictly maintaining a top 10, but now you got 2 Onge Auto Cars and Evan Hunter, Tib Foster looking for their top 10 runs, as Irving has brought it down to half a second on the 48. Goforth continuing to charge his way through, but I don't think he's going to be able to get a top 10 with all that damage. Porta's car is fading, so is Friesen. Both of them have had some damage in this race so far as well. And now there you see Spurley Tube, so they're really going to have to start looking at that minimum speed for the 48. 141 for Jefferson right there, and we'll wait until we see him on the front stretch to take another quick look at that speed, especially you don't want him to mess up the battle for the race win with where these guys are. And down the front straightaway, you're going to need at least a 125, 126 there for Jefferson as he's going to come down the front straightaway. 143, so I think that's going to be too little too late for the 28 of Spurley Tube. He is also a little too slow there to be continuing on in this race, especially as he has fallen behind the 83 Alex Banyaka, so that 28 will have to come in next time by as we're having a battle for the race lead now. BGM starting to catch up to Jefferson, and at the wrong time for JJ. Does not want to lose this race. Still a long distance left, and now he has to try to hold on over 2 of the best cars at short tracks on this season, Irving Allison and Brandon Morris. The 28 will come down and park it. The 83 did meet minimum speed earlier. He is good, not too far off the pace in comparison. So Jay Jefferson now fighting on with Irving Allison, Morris, and don't count out Zachary DeLello clearing to 4th. You got Kukulon now working his way, looking for the 6th position on Bowers. Still, this could cost Kukulon a ton of time to Morris. Might even get him almost tied in the standings leaving this, especially if this 94, 63, or even the bad fast 40. And look at Goforth looking for a top 10 run in this 17 with really no rear end or right side on the car. He's fought his way inside the top 10 almost, as we're coming now 15 laps to go at Memphis. Jay Jefferson maintaining that gap to Irving. Irving a little high coming off of turn number 2. That might cost him a 1/10 of a second down the back straightaway. Not what you want to do when you still need to pass the 48. Catching him is one thing. Passing Jay Jefferson today is another thing, and we've only seen one guy able to do it. The 55 all over the back of the 16, that's for second. If the BGM boys squabble for that position, it might be set and sail for the 48, but there is Banyako, a Toyota car with 2 Toyotas behind this Dodge race leader. Could play a factor in this. We'll see how Banyako goes a lap down to Jay Jefferson here. He is far off the pace, but not enough to be parked yet for Alex Banyako as he's going to head down into turn 1, and he can't fight for this spot. You know, he's not a lap down yet, but Jefferson is not going to be happy with him, and this is one man you do not want to be an aggressive lap car against is Jay Jefferson. As you see, he's looking for any spot he cannot get around the 83 of Alex Banyako, who's playing defense for the BGM duo behind him. Jay's finally going to get a shot to the inside, is going to gap him immediately on the straightaway, but now the 16 and 55 are knocking on his door, and right on the back of the 48, Banyako up the track, trying to maintain. He's going to actually cut off some of Irving's exit. The 16 can't carry enough momentum coming off the corner. Looks like the 83 is good through the corners, but it is not good on the straights, losing a ton of time to the rest of the field as he goes a lap down, and now they're side by side for second. That is what the 48 of Jefferson wants to see. 11 to go, and it's going to be the 55 of Morris trying to clear himself into second against his Spanish teammate and Irving Allison, and Irving's going to run it up into the outside wall. Got real aggressive there and is going to lose a ton of time, and that puts it against the 48 and 55. Now a 2-car tandem out in front, trying to win this race. DeLello clearing himself into 4th as he gets by the 83. Colton Lane 5th. Bowers 6th. Kukulon 7th. Neal 8th. Foster recovering up to 9th after that pit strategy. And Cody Goforth remaining inside the top 12. But now the 55 is knocking on the door of that race lead. And we'll see if Morris can get his 5th win on the season, or if Jay Jefferson will finally be able to break back into victory lane after getting 1 win at Pocono this year. As the 55 is all over the back of the 48. Down this front straightaway one more time, or I should say 8 more times, 8 laps to go here at Memphis, and the 55 is all over the back of the 48. This might be the closest competition Jefferson has had all day, as Morris right in the back might have made some contact heading down into turn number 3. I saw the rear of the 48 move just a little bit, in that braking zone. Morris all over the back of him, but Irving is steadily catching up as the 48. He might just be trying to push him back to Irving and try to get that 16 to fight the 55 and then pull back away. That might be the strategy here. You see DJ Curtis, a damaged car just ahead, and they remain about half a car length between the 55 and 48 as Morris tries any shot he can to get around him, and the 16 is back in this fight. Will BGM fight amongst themselves? No, here comes the 55. He knows he has no time to wait. Looks to the inside of Jay Jefferson and looking for the race lead down into turn 1. For the first time all day, Jay could be passed. He's pushing it real wide. Keep it off the wall. He does not, and the 55 is going to go clear past. Give the lead to Morris. Now Irving Allison fighting for second. Damage to the 16 as he's now going to get by Jefferson, and one mistake all day is going to cost Jay Jefferson the race victory. Now the 55 looking for his 5th win on the season. This could give him the points lead over the 19, as now Irving Allison in the 16 is all over the back of his teammate, and DJ Curtis is just ahead. Another slow lap car in this fight. 5 laps to go this time by at Memphis. Toyota has been dominant all season, won 12 of the 20 races so far. The 55, 16, and 17 combining for 8 of 20, could go for 9 of 21 today if Jefferson or DeLello cannot get by him. And now the 16 of Irving Allison all over the back of the 55. 4 wins versus 1 in the 16. Irving 1 career Cup Series win. Curtis not letting Morris by that easily, slows him down through turn number 1. That's going to bring the 48 back into the fight as Curtis goes real low, not giving Morris an inch getting into the corner, and that is going to let the 55 scoot on by. Now Irving trying to get by the 5 of Curtis will get clear. 3 laps to go this time by. Jefferson clear of both of them. Jay is beating himself up in the car for making that mistake, pushing against the 55 as Morris took that inside line away from him. Irving wide coming out of turn number 4. That's going to lose him a ton of time. And with 3 to go, that's not what you have here at this very short racetrack. Only a couple more turns to go for the 55 of Morris, looking for his 5th win on the year. If he can get it done today, and most likely the points lead with Kugelon sitting back in 7th. One car smashed into the pit wall. That's Max Anderson. And I think that's going to bring us to a yellow. That will end this race under caution. And for 2 weeks in a row, it ends under yellow with a BGM victory. And it's only 2 more times around under pace speed for the 55 of Morris to pick up his 5th win on the year for Butcher Gatorade Motorsports. Max Anderson's car destroyed. I don't know if he was trying to get to pit road or what. He's destroyed. Strigley's coming down. I don't know why Strigley's coming in. I think he might be running out of fuel. They might have forgot to fuel the 63 up. He is back in 15th and will give up a 15th position as they are going to come to the white flag. Jefferson made one mistake all day, and it's going to cost him the victory. Morris started this race in the 55. Started this race 18th. Drives to the front. Peter Onjak as well had a great run. Safe to say Onjak's championship might be over. Morris will be your new points leader. He was already about 16 points ahead of Onjak at this point, plus an extra 50 for the race win compared to Onjak's first. So Onjak will be on the back foot heading into next week. But coming through turns 3 and 4, the 55 is going to go back to victory lane, holding off his teammate, getting by one of the toughest drivers in the garage to beat on track. And this season is all Toyota and Butcher Gatorade Motorsports. Their 10th win as an organization this season. Morris wins the Saia Trucking 500. Rest of the field cycling by. Tib Foster recovers to 8th. Cody Goforth, a valiant effort after a flat tire earlier. 10th with all that damage. Colton Yo, 12th. Evan Hunter, 13th. Great runs for both of those guys. Saia Trucking ends this race 25th with William Duncan as some of the lappers are taken off for their own little joyride here in the 82, 87, and 07. And they're probably going to smash into one of these guys up here. But it is Butcher Gatorade Motorsports, another win on the year, 5th win, tying Colton Lane's Mountain Dew Custom Series record for most wins in a season, and we still have 5 to go for the driver of that number 55. Irving Allison comes home just short in second, going to pick up some points. So will Jefferson, Zachary DeLello, and Colton Lane, with Kukulon coming home 7th, but it's not what everyone else wanted to see. They wanted to see the 19 in the garage more than the 44. And it is the 55 coming home with the victory. So this changes the points outlook just a little bit. That'll give Morris the points lead. Probably either 1 point or tied with the 19. Shouldn't be too far of a gap. Colton Lane continues his charge. He will actually be within a couple spots of the points lead there in that 60. Peter Onjak's going to fall probably out of the top 10 in points with how good all the chasers ran today. Goforth's going to pick up. So will Foster. So will Irving Allison. So will Zachary DeLello. Friesen, Porta, Reed probably going to be pretty much eliminated from competition at this point. I wouldn't say that drastic. We still have 5 races to go, but finishing behind Kukulon and Morris, especially going to lose them a ton more time. A great race was had here at Memphis. A couple crashes near the end, and a finish under the yellow flag is probably having some fans demanding for a green-white checkered, but if we saw Strigley running out of fuel, who else would have as well? Jay Jefferson dominated this race, but made one slip up into the wall, and it costs him. He finishes 3rd. Still a great day, but not what it could have been for a struggling TSR operation that has only won a single race this season after a dominant 5-win stretch with a championship last year. Jefferson will be back in the hunt just a little bit as he catches up to the 55 and 19, but a lot of racing left to go this season. A lot of action left. 4 truck races, 3 Mountain Dew Custom Series races, and 5 Sundrop Cup Series races before we crown our 3 champions at Kansas. Great race here at Memphis. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time on the NSDCA.